Real que lo puedo ñauna piel para de y when you turn on the when I come by you want to be by one day la road and the day you can one Nunca gaira one paja que se ajekile apen namba de pana dale sabaki apen namba de maria ajekile apen namba de pana dale sabaki apen namba de maria ani malama mo le yeso le ole mu wata mabare ya dai de pai ujo ko yo lo kamare ki de Akira man kuri jago jam yai banyu yo. Dingo rebale ya ken kon jai dewan pada mitwo. Kana pangala wita mena men kwa menu te ya ke kiri daga. Ya mi jale jole kon amen bayareu. Mangal walwe yedi. Kana pangala wita mena men kwa menu te ya ke kiri daga. Amen. Amat penjualan ni jamu, jadi orang pun benda jeriot. Banyak kalinya, jadi orang pun benda jeriot. Banyak kalinya, jadi orang pun benda jeriot. Jadi penjualan. Kamu kira rumah buawe, napai berjalan yang itu, bang keduru ulo kerja, tak ulo kumbat, duru ulo jalan kian. Kalau dah kajuali, agak kajuali, pana jangan amlah, jadi usahanya berjalan. Kalau dah kajuali, agak kajuali, pana jangan amlah, jadi usahanya berjalan. Kalau jualan wajar, kalau kau nyamna biasa ada. Iwan di jalan kerja, kena pambai, mau tidak baik lewati. Awan jaya laran jaga jayo, yang berdoa. Tunggu gaya awan banyak kerja, ajekile, apen nambah tepana, kali terbagi, apen nambah terbaria, ajekile, apen nambah tepana, kali terbagi, apen nambah terbaria. Kami malam boleh yeso beri oleh bukan mapai ya dan cepat. Ujung ujung belum kamar dia deh. Acara man kuri jago jam jai banyu yo. Dingo berbalik ya kerkon jai dewan pada mitwo. Karena kau utamena men kau melode ya kiri daga. Ya menjaga jolasan. Amen bayareu. Mangal walwe yedi. Karena kau utamena men kau melode ya kiri daga. Ya menjaga jolasan. Amen bayareu. Mangal walwe yedi bodo. Amat penjualan ni jamu, jadi orang pun benda jeriot. Banyak kalinya, jadi orang pun benda jeriot. Banyak kalinya, jadi orang pun benda jeriot. Jadi penjualan. Kamu kira rumah buawe, napai berjalan yang itu, bang keduru ulo kerja, tak ulo kumbat, duru ulo jalan kian. Kalau dah kajuali, agak kajuali, pana jangan amlah, jadi usahanya berjalan. Kalau dah kajuali, agak kajuali, pana jangan amlah, jadi usahanya berjalan. Kalau jualan wajar, kalau kau nyamna biasa ada. Iwan di jalan kerja, kena pambai, mau tidak baik lewati. One Jaila and Jelly, one project is there. I just feel number the Panda, I feel number the Maria, I feel number the Panda, I feel number the Maria. I feel my what I is so very well. Then, what am I? Yeah, Ujo boyo welo kamade yigede tunye. Ajara man kurja ojam yai kajuyo. Dingo relwale ya kirkon jai dewan pada wiko. Kona kawala wikame na kwa malume ya kiri dake. Eya mijale Jonathan amen bayarew. Kamalwa yede. Kona kawala wikame na kwa malume.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Billy Luke. I'm actually just coming back to repeat the same live video that I just did a minute ago, but unfortunately, I was not aware that I did mute myself. So I would like to apologize for that inconvenience it caused you. And so I'm actually coming back to repeat the very same message I was conveying to the general public. So please tune back in and listen to the message. So, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I'm coming live today, or why I'm hosting this program, is actually to read out to you a petition that was written by the Ruweng administrative area politician and citizen calling and demand the removal of the Vice President Taban Deng for fomenting a tribal warfare, fueling ethnic extermination, and promoting systematic act of terrorism, as well as engaging in territorial annexation of the Ruweng area. So, as a citizen of Ruweng State in particular, I would like to bring to your attention Ruweng politician and citizen petition call and demand for the removal of Taban Deng from the Presidency of the Ruweng from the Republic of South Sudan for fomenting tribal warfare, fueling ethnic terrorism, ethnic extermination, and territorial annexation against the Ruweng administrative area. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will start reading out to you the article, but I was actually giving you a summary of what is actually being conveyed in the content of this petition. And this petition was actually written to the office of the presidency, His Excellency General Salva Kiir Mayardit, so that he can actually take it into consideration about the position of the Vice President Taban Deng. And this letter is very long, and it is going to be very boring for those of you who want to stay around and listen for a short period of time, because this is a very, very long article, and I want you to get along with me as I'm reading it. But please bear with me. I was just giving you a summary of it. Politicians and citizens of Ruweng are actually calling for the absolute removal of Taban Deng from the position of the Vice Presidency. So here is the letter. And the headline goes like this: Does Taban Deng deserve to be a Vice President in South Sudan? A petition letter to President Kiir. President, His Excellency General Salva Kiir Mayardit, President of the Republic of South Sudan, Juba, South Sudan. Does Taban Deng deserve to be a Vice President? A letter to the President of the Republic of South Sudan. Your Excellency, Primble, we, the undersigned current and former government official, intellectual, and community, as well as business leaders from Ruweng administrative area, steadfastly supportive of Your Excellency leadership in light of Your Excellency composure and ability to hold our country together, mindful of Your Excellency historical sacrifice for the liberation of this country, grateful for Your Excellency's support for the people of Ruweng throughout your professional career and leadership, appreciative of your leadership bold decision to establish Ruweng as an administrative area, a decision that is now viciously fought against by enemies of peace, extremists, and groups that seek to undermine, oppress, and dominate the people of Ruweng due to lack of Ruweng representation in position of influence and power in the government, requesting Your Excellency to appoint strong and loyal Ruweng leaders to be part of the corridors of power where decisions are made concerning our great republic, concern about the notorious scheme and game that Taban Deng has played since 1991, and especially from 2005, with a view to marginalizing and alienating Ruweng from the gain of our hard-won independence, cognizant of the fact that by President Taban Deng, along with Minister Chiang Giek and other enemies of Ruweng, have been inciting the IO integrated military officers, such as Brigadier General John Koch, Major General Carlo Kuol, and Major General Musa Malik, among others, to continually unleash violence on and displace Ruweng people from their native land so that they can occupy it by settling his own constituents and annexate it to his home area. Convinced by President Taban Deng, along with his loyalists as Minister Chiang Giek, is an existential threat to the Ruweng people by reason of their diverse position and unwavering determination to exterminate the Ruweng people and confiscate their land. Aware that our security concerns do not come to Your Excellency attention, nor get to Your Excellency office desk because of the ill will and pretentious behaviors of actors in Your Excellency cabinet, who hold themselves out as protectors of Ruweng interests, yet they are in fact playing to the tune of by President Taban extremism and his destructive agenda against the people of Ruweng, conscious of the fact that by President Taban Deng has consistently abused the power of his political office by intimidating, targeting, bullying, and silencing our representative who stand up against his unconscionable behavior and betrayal of public trust, which betrayal has potential to bring the presidency into a terrible disrepute. Calling into question Taban loyalty in light of his suspicious conduct, including his maintenance of a separate private militia and a network of loyal former IO military officers, such as Major General Carlo Kuol, currently the Deputy Commander of the Division 4 Infantry, and Brigadier General John Koch, who is now the head of the South Sudan People Defense Force, Brigade 1 in Ruweng, where he is implementing Taban ample interest against the Ruweng people. Recalling that by President Taban Deng has established a network of military officers in Ruweng, where he has recruited and commissioned into South Sudan Police Service and National Security Service more than 100 loyal civilians whom he has promoted to varying ranks, ranging from Major General to Second Lieutenant, with an intent to protect his ample interests. and underscoring that Taban has used and continued to use his ill-gotten wealth and resources to divide and pit the people of Ruweng against one another with impunity. Do hereby submit this petition to your excellency, wondering whether by President Taban Dengai, a man with unquestionable moral character and loyalty, a man notoriously known for betrayal, power abuse, maiming a civilian, land grabbing, and a threat to the political, socio-cultural cohesion of the people of this country, deserve to be a by president in a country whose liberation the people, the Ruweng people have made immense sacrifices. Substantive basis for the petition, Mr. President. Your Excellency, know full well that the Ruweng people are your loyal subject, who has always are ready, willing, and able to stand by you in thick and thin, just as they did during the liberation struggle and in the most recent history. Yet, in view of our strong belief that by President Taban Dengai, in a collaboration with many forces within and outside the government, has become an existential threat to the Ruweng people. B, increasingly pose a serious national security threat to our public, for whom best Your Excellency and the Ruweng people sacrificed to liberate, while Taban was on the other side. Our affirmative question as to whether by President Taban deserved to be a by president is premised on, but not limited to, the following perspective. A, abuse of public trust, power, and resources. It is a well-documented fact that by President Taban Dengai is a man who uses political power to injure, undermine, or even destroy communities and individuals. He thrived and flourished on a chaos by setting communities and individuals against one another. His nefarious approach to power and politics has been well noted, even internationally. In order to advance his vicious intention, by President Taban uses ill-gotten wealth and resources to bribe, divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. That is how he has used his wealth to destroy Ruweng, by using his forces to kill innocent civilians, by commandeering our lands and stationing an army in the heart of Ruweng. He fed his private army from his wealth, which he, to once again emphasize, accumulate through grand-scale thievery and corrupt dealing. He also used the same wealth to target and kill Ruweng intellectuals and politicians. For instance, when he was the governor of Unity State under Bashir from 1999 to 2001, he schemed to target Ruweng and supported several raids carried out by the Sudanese government. Furthermore, while he was the governor of Unity State from 2005 to 2013, one prominent Ruweng member of parliament, Honorable Zakaria Deng, was targeted and killed. Honorable Bol was SPLA veteran. He fought for the liberation of this country from 1984 to 2005. His death was blamed on none other than by President Taban Dengai himself. As we speak, by President Taban Dengai continue to egregious abuse the power of his office as by president. He used the power of this office to threaten, to intimidate, to bully, and silence Ruweng representatives who stand up against his immoral behavior that include violation of the human rights of the Ruweng people. The most recent lawsuit against Honorable Mary Ayen Mijuk, in which he uses public resources to pay an army of lawyers is intended to achieve just that. We, however, are hesitant to add that a threat to or a lawsuit against Honorable Ayen because she speaks out against Taban vile activities is a threat or is a lawsuit against the Ruweng people as a whole. By President Taban, consistent abuse and misuse of political power and office, as well as siphoning of public resources to advance his personal and ethnic interests, is currently a trait and becoming a vice president. It is our considerate opinion that this behavior makes him unfit to be a vice president. It depends adversely not only the meaning of public service, but it also more likely to bring the presidency into a terrible disrepute. B, by President unduly interfere in the Ruweng people internal affairs. Another substantive basis for this petition is that by President Taban has unconscionably ordained himself the master of Ruweng people administrative and other internal affairs. This self-aggrandizement compels him to meddle in the affairs of Ruweng in the most egregious way possible. For example, Taban has made it his divine duty to appoint leaders for Ruweng. Hold on, guys. Let me continue reading it. Bear with me, I just lost the article, so I'm trying to bring it back. It's a very long article, so I have to scroll it down and up. So I scroll it upward. That's why I lost the. This self-aggrandizement compel him to meddle in the affairs of Ruweng in the most egregious way possible. For instance, Taban has made it his divine duty to appoint leaders for Ruweng. In so doing, he willfully chooses to appoint morally incompetent and unqualified governors, county commissioners, chief administrators, and police officers. He also influenced the appointment of military commanders, national security personnel operating in the Ruweng region. That is why we have the life of Brigadier John Koch, a well-known notorious killer. I don't know why I keep losing the article. That is why we have the life of Brigadier John Koch, a well-known notorious killer, now leading Division 4 Infantry Brigade in Ruweng. Koch was imprisoned by General Puljang for repeatedly attacking and killing Ruweng people in Vietnam, but that behavior made him more attractive to Taban, who invited to join his militia. By President Taban later promoted him among his militia forces to the rank of Brigadier General. Obviously, there is nothing under the law of this country that entitles a vice president to determine leadership in a particular constituency. The constitution and law of this country are very clear. A vice president is an assistant to the president and commonly to do what either the law prescribes for him or your excellency assigned him to do. Yet Taban, a perpetual traitor against the interests of this republic in general and of the Ruweng people in particular, think that he can determine who Ruweng leaders are and must be. Your Excellency, if you may well recall, when Ruweng was in the sixth and sin of the liberation, Vice President was on the other side of the conflict, siding basically with Khartoum. He fought the people of Ruweng and South Sudan as a whole. Under his reign as the governor of Unity State under Bashir, for example, Taban oversaw the launching of 27 military raids against Ruweng between the period of 1999 and 2001. We therefore see no basis for why by President Taban should exercise dominion over the brave, resilient, and loyal Ruweng people. He does not even deserve to be a vice president if a reward for sacrifice and contribution to the cause of the people of this country mean anything. Currently, he has extended his subversive activities to the current governor of Unity State, Honorable Dr. Joseph Nguyen Muntui. This is a part of his constant effort to undermine any peaceful coexistence and cooperation between Ruweng administrative area and Unity State. C. Taban undermined any cooperation between Ruweng and Unity State under Dr. Joseph Nguyen Muntui. Taban Dengai has been engaging in various subversive activities, not only against the interests of Ruweng, but also against the leadership of new Unity State under Governor Joseph Nguyen Muntui. In his most recent meeting with the current Ruweng Chief Administrator, Chola Wanlis, Taban, along with the Minister Chen Giek and Tem Mishar, hatched a destructive policy that called for non-cooperation with Governor Nguyen Muntui. The trio, what I mean by trio is three. These three figures, Taban Dengai, Chen Giek, and Tem Mishar instructed the chief administrator, who is actually the current chief administrator of Ruweng administrative area, not to cooperate with the governor Nguyen under any circumstances. In their view, Governor Nguyen is an enemy, being too cooperative with your excellency. It was also in the same meeting that the trio instructed chief not to deploy any police force in Ruweng area bordering new Unity State. The prime objective is to undermine the leadership of both areas as well as make the border region unstable and ungovernable. Taban maintained a separate militia with which he terrorized the Ruweng region in exact concession from the government. Since Taban ostensibly joined the government in 2016, pretentiously to secure the return of the Nuer to the government, or at least turn the Nuer against Riek Machar, he has continued to maintain a separate military wing of his own. These forces are stationed both in the Ruweng area of Wand Danwil and his home area of Good County. At Wand Danwil, this militia unit is not only an occupying force in Ruweng administrative area, they are there for him to use as a bargaining chip, so as to exact concession from the government to keep his position. Even military officers who appear to have been integrated into the South Sudan People Defense Force following his ascension to power in 2016 continue to maintain a strong loyalty to him. When Major General Carlo Qual lashed out against Your Excellency in Ruweng this year, lambasting your bold decision to create Ruweng administrative area, he was not only speaking on his own accord, he spoke for by President Taban Dengai and other sworn enemies of the Ruweng people. Again, the fact that Taban continued to maintain a separate armed wing is no coincidence. He wants to use his force as a tool for his power bargain. Yet the fact is that Taban actually has no political consistency and can be discarded inconsequentially. That means Taban Dengai can actually be removed without the government of South Sudan bearing any consequences for removing him from the position of the vice presidency. So there would be no any consequences, whether political or military consequences, should Taban Deng be removed from the office of the Vice Presidency. So you should understand that, ladies and gentlemen. This is evidenced by the fact that he has never visited and cannot pay a visit to his hometown since he returned from rebellion. Since Taban Deng returned from the rebellion in 2016 to join the government of South Sudan under His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit in 2016, Taban Deng has never visited his hometown. And that alone attests to you, as the people of South Sudan, that Taban Deng has no political constituencies that can actually support him or can welcome him in his own hometown or in his own county where he comes from, because he lacked political support on the ground, and he's just only using some militia to project himself as if he had the power in the government of South Sudan, or as if he has a political influence. So he's just a puppet that has no base, has no constituencies to represent. So it is okay for Taban to be removed, and government can bear no consequences for doing that. Most of the forces that opened raid Ruweng areas, such as was the case recently in Wagia, in Biu, in Agarak, in Akut, in Atoy, and Yar, are part of this militia unit of Taban Deng. As we speak, 8 soldiers from this private army militia are in jail in Ruweng, having been captured in a drug battle with Ruweng youth. Among them, one is a major, another is a captain, and 2 others yet are first lieutenant. In fact, all the 8 soldiers, except one, are officers. They are part of Taban terrorizing unit. It is worth reminding, Your Excellency, that Taban was not only the mastermind and architect of the 2013 coup, he continued to be a serious national security threat to this country. Such a man, Your Excellency, cannot be honored with the esteemed office of Vice Presidency or trusted with the affairs of our republic. Your Excellency may recall how a delegation from the Sudan in 2017 was so gracious to Taban, claiming that had it not been for Taban Deng, Pantau would have never been part of the Sudan today. Taban, therefore, not only betrayed the people of Ruweng, he posed a serious national security threat to this country. Taban brazenly displayed disloyalty and wanton disregard for Your Excellency authority. Despite his countless personal limitations, Vice President Taban Deng is an overly ambitious man. He paid loyalty to Your Excellency. In reality, however, Taban continued to both step you in the back and talk ill of Your Excellency leadership. In other words, Taban displayed wanton disregard for Your Excellency authority and leadership, just as he stabbed the SPLA in the back in the 1990s and betrayed Your Excellency trust in 2013. Taban has been doing exactly the same to Your Excellency since he became the Vice President in 2016, and now as Vice President since 2020. This behavior is consistent with his Pagak declaration that the only way by which IO can defeat Your Excellency and the government was to join the rank and file of the government, and then bite, rat, and sink the boat from within. The point is that Taban is a man who does not have allegiance to anyone. This explains why Taban brazenly defies and disregards Your Excellency executive degrees and orders. For instance, when Your Excellency resolved in a meeting between two governors of the defunct Northern Liech and Ruweng state and ordered them to evacuate from Ruweng areas of Wan Danwil, Medin, and Darbim late last year, Taban ironically did the opposite. He subsequently flooded his military loyalists with the cash, giving each of his tiny Jeken tribesmen and militia $1 million to set up settlement in those ruling areas, especially at Wan Danwil. He also maintained a militia that he paid to protect Jeken civilians in the occupied ruling areas. Only the former Ruweng state governor, Lauren War, obeyed the instruction. This clearly shows that Taban does not respect the authority of Your Excellency office as President of the Republic. F. Taban is an insubordinate and dishonorable political figure. Your Excellency, the deceitful display of disloyalty, discord sowing, and capricious behavior exhibited by President Taban Dengai is not limited to negating the interests of Ruweng people and their right to exist. All South Sudanese IGAD countries, and indeed the entire continent of Africa, can clearly attest to not only Taban's incompetent leadership, but also his dishonorable behavior. For instance, between 2016 and 2020, a time during which he served as Vice President after taking up the leadership of the SPLA-IO faction, leaving IO militia everywhere in the bushes of South Sudan, despite his pledge that he was going to outplay Riek and bring all former supporters of Riek to the government fold. More specifically, Taban failed to convince and unite his tribesmen, who made up 90% of the SPLA-IO. And upon taking over the leadership of the SPLM-IO, he embarks on the politic of destruction that he is so adept at. This kind of politic is harmful to the people of South Sudan. With those of Taban in the driver's seat, South Sudan will never be able to build a strong and viable country. We are therefore wondering whether Vice President Taban deserves to be a Vice President. But the ultimate judgment is entirely Your Excellency. The fact is that, in light of the fact Vice President Taban make a moral decision and violate human rights of our own citizens, and yet goes around the world to attribute them to Your Excellency, he remains insubordinate and disdainful of Your Excellency authority. An individual who defies instruction of a higher authority or make lapses of judgment that he or she attribute to his or her boss is characteristically insubordinate. This trait succinctly describes who Taban Dengai truly is. G, a concise summary of why Taban is not a trustworthy person. While the litany of Taban's moral and political incompetence or failing is inexhaustible, the following are illustrative of his shady background, and thus explain why he is not morally and politically fit to serve as a vice president. Number one, Taban is a mischievous psychopath of the first order. He knows how to sweet-talk leaders by neatly displaying an appearance of or saying exactly what a leader wants. But beneath all that thinly veiled pretension, he is brutal and dangerous because he stabbed the very leader that he appeared to be loyal to in the back. That is exactly how he pretentiously made himself closer to Chairman Garang and to Your Excellency, especially between 2005 and 2013. Two, Taban is a perpetual betrayer. He was the first of the Nasser coup group to visit Khartoum in 1991 in preparation for what eventuated in the August 28th coup in 1991. He betrayed not only the SPLM, SPLA, but the very gang that he ostensibly cultivated a working relationship with. Number 3, Taban betrayed Matip Nial in 2001. When the Nasser coup group became a part of the National Islamic Front government in Khartoum, he betrayed Matip Nial. The confrontation that would ensue led to the killing and wounding of several Ruweng politicians in Bantu. Between Taban associated them with Matip. Taban betrayed Riek in 2001. When Riek Machar sent Taban from Khartoum to negotiate on his behalf with the SPLM, SPLA under Chairman Garang, he immediately jumped ships on his arrival in Nairobi and betrayed Riek Machar by rejoining SPLM, SPLA in Nairobi. He subsequently badmouthed Riek. Number 5, Taban betrayed Your Excellency while he was the governor of Unity State, during which he pretended to be loyal to Your Excellency. In reality, he was not. He was only your friend during the day, but was Riek Machar's friend at night. That is how he easily hatched the 2013 coup, along with his boss, with whom he had a real and tangible pre-existing relationship. Despite the fact that Taban might have lost 2010 SPLM election, Your Excellency still maintain him as SPLM gubernatorial flag bearer. The people of Ruweng voted for him overwhelmingly in the general election that would follow in 2010, even when he actually lost in Nuer constituencies. Number 6, when left unchecked, Taban upsurged powers by assigning to himself extraordinary authority. For instance, as a governor of Unity State, Taban unilaterally signed a clandestine agreement with the governor Arun of Kordofan in 2008. In that agreement, Taban conceded Ruweng areas of Rorlo, Karasana, Kolelek, Kelek, and other areas. By so doing, Taban made himself too powerful that he decided to act unilaterally without consultation. Yet the authority to concede a country or an autonomous region territorial integrity lies even beyond presidency. He betrayed Your Excellency. Number 7, the 2013 rebellion. When Taban was removed as the governor of Unity State in 2013, he started going around the country and the world, accusing Your Excellency of tribalism, despite the fact that he was replaced with a man from his ethnic background. He ultimately conspired with others to engineer the 2013 coup. Number 8, Taban is not only corrupt, but is also an underachiever. Taban presides over 2% share of oil revenue of Unity State between 2005 to 2013, but had nothing to show for it. Under his reign as a governor for 7 years, the whole Unity State remained one of the most underdeveloped. This clearly shows that not only does Taban make bold promises that he can never fulfill, he is totally incompetent. He is an underachiever in all practical respect. Number 9, Taban been pretending that he joined the SPLM, but in reality he has not. He is why Taban has been openly requesting a proportional share of leadership. That is how he got himself 2 cabinet positions in himself. He also recently requested 10% share of the government slot in the RTNLA, for the same reason. C. In the current TNLA, he still maintains his party structure, including a chief whip for IO. He still holds himself out as a partner, not an appointee, in the IT Gona and of the RT Gona. Yet in 2016, he became the first vice president on account of the pledge that he was going to bring the rebellion generally and RIC specifically under control. But did he fulfill his pledge? Besides, if he had joined the SPLM, then one should wonder why he still is mobilizing not only his own forces, but also some of the old SPLA cadets currently in the army, the police, and national security service forces, keeping his separate army and using his ill-gotten resources to bribe people and asking them to pledge loyalty and allegiance to him. So, true, Your Excellency can see that by President Taban has a sinister motives and interests, a plan that he can intend to pursue with all necessary force. Conclusion. Again, the foregoing, we submit this humble petition, wondering whether, at Your Excellency convenient, Taban Deng deserve to be part of the presidency. We are of the view that his presence in the presidency does not only undermine the right of the Ruweng people to exist, his enduring abuse of political power, betrayal of the public trust bestowed upon him by the Bishop of Office as the Vice President, among others, have the potential to bring the presidency. Hold on. His enduring abuse of political power, betrayal of the public trust bestowed upon him by the Bishop of Office as the Vice President, among others, have the potential to bring the presidency and Your Excellency leadership into a terrible disrepute. Besides, Taban poses a serious security threat to the future of this republic. To serve this republic from his headaches and embarrassment, we wonder if he should be part of the presidency. Finally, if we live in a country in which personal history and contribution or lack thereof are imperative of determining leadership, then it is our considered opinion that by President Taban, Your Excellency does not deserve to be honored with a vice presidential position. But the ultimate determination is Your Excellency's sole discretion. Thank you very much. This is the end of the petition, and the petition was actually signed by number 1, Honorable Lauren Mabong War, former governor of Ruweng State, Honorable number 2, Honorable Mayulakur, former governor, Ruweng State, Honorable Seja Duot, former appeal court judge and governor of Ruweng State. Number 4, Honorable Mbengalang, former deputy governor, Unity and Ruweng State. Number 5, Honorable Maria Yanamijuk, chairperson on decentralized governance and state affairs, central government of South Sudan. Number 6 is Honorable John Deng Akir, Honorable Chol Deng Akir, former Speaker of State Assembly, Ruweng State. Number 7 is Honorable Gal Deng Alak, former Commissioner of Biemnam County. Number 8 is Honorable Sultan Bol Mayik, a former advisor, Ruweng Administrative Area. Number 9 is Honorable Ajang Gede, a former Minister of Information, Ruweng State. Number 10, Honorable Maurice Volmijok, former Minister, Ruweng State. Number 11 is Honorable Hang Mingyil, former Minister, Ruweng State. Honorable Simon Cholmalit, former Minister, Ruweng State. Number 13, Honorable Peter Dow Chopkwer, former Deputy Governor, Defang Ruweng State. Number 14, Honorable Miyar Lues, AMP representing Ruweng in the BA administrative area. Representing Ruweng in the BA administrative area. Honorable Alahisan Mandari, Honorable Michael Nyaleng Yak, former Commissioner, BMNAM East. Honorable Miriam Minyil, former Commissioner, BMNAM West County. Number 18, Dr. Santino Ayuel Longar, Assistant Professor of University of Juba. Number 19, Engineer Paul Adong, Chairman and CEO, Private Enterprise. He's the former chairman of the NALFET. Number 20, Simon Benator, Chairman and CEO, Private Enterprise. Number 21 is George Malone Chuo, Youth Representative Juba. Number 22 is Nyong Malik, Youth Representative Juba. Number 23, Dio Achigak, Lawyer and Youth Representative Juba. 24, Milwag Mijangaro, Fanaru Community Leader in Canada. Number 25, Abraham Gagmanyabur, Canada. Santino Kufulo Dao, Sarah Llewellyn, Paulina Matiang Wo, Julia Cholmun, Rhoda Dolngo, Elizabeth Yarding, Kurmi Jang Tor, Dana Tok Bagwood in Juba, Michael Meleng Yak, former Commissioner, BMNAM County, Miriam Minyil Deng, former Commissioner, BMNAM, Honorable Miyar Lued Agwar, Councillor, Ruweng representative in Ruweng, Ruweng representative in ABI, sorry. Honorable Kiri Minyil, former MP, Defang Ruweng State, Kiri Miyomki, Winnie Miriala Ador, Santino Nyegakol, Daniel Cholodao, Mibil Minyil, Pyong War Misha, Isaac Mayokur, sorry, Gabriel Mitiong Dao, Luka Mupero Buko, Chairman of Fanaru Community in the United States, Diaradong Akir, USA, Peter Mekwe Kwal, Mayik Denkir, Jimmy the Rope, Mijak, Malwa Denkur, Boritara Boat, Mirial Mibeng Amal, Jimmy Miyom. No. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings me to the end of the program, and I have concluded the reading of the petition that was actually written by the Ruweng administrative area politician and citizen. So this petition is actually petitioning, calling, and demanding the removal of the Vice President Taban Deng from the position of the Vice Presidency, because Vice President Taban Deng is actually known for fomenting tribal warfare, fueling ethnic extermination, fueling systematic act of terrorism, and territorial annexation against the people of Ruweng State. And this is the reason why this politician of the people of Ruweng administrative area and the citizen came together and put a draft petitioning, calling, and demanding the removal of Vice President Taban Deng. Because not only is he actually sponsoring act of terrorism, fomenting tribal warfare or fueling ethnic extermination, as well as forceful territorial annexation of the people of Ruweng. Taban Deng is actually a national security threat to the people of South Sudan in many ways, as it's actually being described in detail in this particular petition. So Taban Deng is actually believed to be the man that is actually behind the annexation of the Pantau, a part of the northern part of Ruweng, which is actually rich in oil. So the so-called elite is actually known as Pantau, which is actually the local name for the indigenous area. So Pantau is actually known today in Chumal, Sudan as a glitch. which used to be the industrial area where the oil was being mined in what appeared to be the former unity state by the time. But since the succession of Ruweng from the former unity state, Fantau is actually considered to be part of the Ruweng state. So it is actually being exposed in this particular petition that Taban Deng is behind the concession of our land to Shumal Sudan because he signed an illegal contract or illegal accord or agreement with the former governor of Southern Kordofan, Honorable Arun, who is now in jail in Sijin, is now in the prison of Sijin Copper, along with the Omar Hassan al-Bashir. This is the former governor of Southern Kordofan that signed this illegal agreement with Taban Deng. So Taban Deng is a man that we cannot actually trust. He's a man that can actually make any illegal deal with anyone. And he cannot even, he cannot be trusted. He's very disloyal. He's very dishonorable figure that cannot be trusted. So now, I think this petition was actually directed to His Excellency, President General Salva Kiir Mayardit, to take it into consideration whether he will actually make a decision whether to remove Taban Deng or not. Because there's no point whatsoever to allow this person to be in the position of the vice presidency when in fact he's actually promoting war in some part of the country. His politics is always dirty, and his politics is always fueling ethnic extermination, systematic act of terrorism, fomenting tribal warfare, as well as conspiring for territorial annexation of other people's land. And this is the reason why people of Ruweng State decided to break away from their counterpart in Unity State. So Taban was the main reason. Even some prominent politicians of Ruweng that used to be in the old Sudan government under the National Islamic Front were actually assassinated to what appeared to be a coordinated political assassination. Again, it's the prominent politician of Ruweng from 1999 to 2001. So Taban Deng is a very serious enemy to the people of Ruweng, and we are not going to compromise with him this time around. We have made this very clear to His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit, and it is up to his authority to make that determination whether he can remove Vice President Taban Deng. But we will not tolerate Taban Deng to continue to send in his militia to invade or to aggress the people of Ruweng, as he usually does in most cases. His county is not equivalent to the neighboring counties of the Ruweng. And people of Ruweng State have the capability to overrun his county in a matter of a day. In a matter of some hours, even it means going back to war. So people of Ruweng State have been very patient, and it is a matter of time that people are running out of patience, and we will not continue to tolerate that. Taban Deng continue to interfere in affairs, the internal affairs of the people of Ruweng State, by also appointing some of the sons and daughters of the Ruweng, and these are the people that he used to come and instigate an internal division and betrayal of the land as well. So Taban Deng has so many ambition in the people of Ruweng, particularly in the land. And that's where the conflict is. So even the son of Ruweng is actually collaborating with Taban Deng. You should think twice. People of Ruweng State are running out of patience, and we will not tolerate it this time. Enough with this status quo politics. If you collaborate with the people enemy, you will be dealt with within. And this is not going to require any permission from anyone. These people have to be hand down, and they ought to be disciplined. So the time for condoning and entertaining traitors among us is over, and we will not continue to tolerate any betrayal by the son and daughters of Ruweng that are being used by Taban Deng. I think this petition, written by this politician and the concerned citizen of the people of Ruweng state, is a warning sign to the general public that we will no longer tolerate any dirty politics that is always being conspired by Taban Deng. Taban Deng is just holding the position of the Presidency, where he's not supposed to be assigned it, because this man only poses a security threat to the government of South Sudan as a whole, and to the people of Ruweng state in particular. But we are wondering, as the people of Ruweng, as to why His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit continue to maintain Taban Deng in that position of Presidency, because Taban Deng is lacking political consistency. That is why he never visited his hometown in Good County and Bantu, because he's lacking support on the ground. Taban Deng is working against the current governor of Unity State, Dr. Nguyen Minh Thuy, who is actually willing to cooperate with the people of Ruweng State. But Taban Deng is the one working to undermine the governorship of Dr. Nguyen Minh Thuy, so that he cannot build a good relationship with the people of Ruweng State to stabilize the borders, so that the issue of insecurity and territorial dispute can be resolved in an amicable manner that can actually enable our people to coexist in harmonious existence along the borders. So this is why this petition is brought to the attention of His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit, so he can actually take it into consideration by removing Taban Deng. And his removal is going to be inconsequential. It's not going to cause any consequences, another way around. So Salva Kiir Mayardit can actually remove Taban Deng and replace him with the loyalists that have come from the best constituencies of the Eastern Jekai Nuer or Central Nuer, who have recently flocked to the government of South Sudan. This is how politics should be working. Taban Deng does not represent anyone. Even though he comes from Unity State, he lacks consistencies on the ground. That's why he never visited Bantu ever since he joined the government in 2016. And that is why he's working against Dr. Nguyen Minh Thuy, so that he can actually remove Nguyen Minh Thuy and replace him with his loyalists. Because he perceived Dr. Nguyen Minh Thuy as a threat to him, just like when he perceived late General Paulino Matip as a threat. So that means when Taban Deng does not get along with the constituencies of the Bull Nuer, nor does he get along with the constituencies of the Lake Nuer, other than relying on his own section, the Jekai Nuer. And Jekai Nuer are also minority within the northern, the former defunct Northern Liege State. So, ladies and gentlemen, Taban Deng must be removed. This is a very clear message by the former leaders, the politician and the citizen of Ruweng are calling for his removal from the office of the Presidency, because Taban Deng is incompetent, is insubordinate, is disloyal, is dishonorable, is a traitor. And this is a man that can stab you in the back. He been stabbing everybody in the back. He stabbed led Dr. John Garang Mobure in the back. He stabbed Dr. Rick Machar in the back several times. And he recently backstabbed His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit, and he will continue to do that. So this man has been playing, numerous political prostitution among the politicians. So I don't understand why Salva Kiir Mayardit would actually continue to hold this man in this position. And we are also aware of other, potential military coups that are being talked about in Juba. Taban Denga is likely among those military, those political coup plotters in Juba that we all know. We don't want to mention names here, but we know Taban Denga is one of them. Because this guy is very dirty and he's good, at playing cat and mouse. He can survive in any weather. He can change his color every year and then. And this kind of man can never be trusted. And I don't know why some of these leaders do trust him. This man is dirty. And if I were Salva Kiir Mayardit, I would kick him out. Because this man is actually walking underground against the leadership of His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit. Salva Kiir Mayardit understand it very clearly that people of Ruweng State have been constantly supportive and appreciative and loyal to his leadership, not only during his presidency, but during the liberation struggle. Ruweng have been very, very loyal and consistent with their support to the leadership of the SPLM, SPLA revolutionary cause, under the leadership of late Dr. John Garang Mobure, as well as the leadership of Presidency, Salva Kiir Mayardit. So we will never be intimidated, we will never be silent, and we will never be coaxed by the agent of Taban Denga. This message is very clear. This is a matter of making it very clear to the general public, so you have to understand that people of Ruweng State are not playing with Taban Denga this time. And that's why you should also understand, as a citizen of Ruweng, that enough is enough. We have to get rid of this agent of Taban Denga who are now being installed in the Ruweng administrative area. It is time for us to make sure to call for the removal of the current chief administrator, because he's still collaborating with Taban Denga, who is actually a self-sworn enemy against the people of Ruweng. Shola Awali continue to do that. That is why he's actually refusing to cooperate and work collaboratively with Dr. Nguen Mointouil, the current governor of the Unity State. So people of both Unity State and Ruweng can actually coexist in harmony along their borders, so that people will not continue to have this kind of, back and forth, cultural rustling issues, tribal, raid into other people's land, fueling ethnic extermination, sponsoring, an identified systematic act of terrorism against one another, and fighting over the territorial, integrity. These are the concerns that we need to work seriously this year, forward. So please take this petition very seriously, that it is a matter of time that Taban Denga is going to be dealt with however he wants. Thank you very much, and I have to end this video here. I'm not going to call anyone because this is all about making it public what the politician and citizen, the concerned citizen of Ruweng, have done to call for the removal of the Vice President Taban Denga. This guy, we knew him since day one. He's a traitor. And what I mean he's a traitor is the fact that he has involved in the forceful annexation of Pantho, as well as Kolalik and Karsana. He's the man behind the concession of our land to the enemy, to Shimal Sudan. So some of the areas has already been given away legally, which is not even the responsibility of the president of the country as well. Nobody can give away any territorial part of the country to a foreign country. It can never happen under the law or under the constitution. However, Taban Deng had done it when he was the governor of Unity State from 2005 to 2013. He made an illegal deal with the former governor of Southern Kordofan, Governor Arun, by signing illegal agreement, giving away Karasana and giving away Coal Lake. And eventually, it is actually what led to the military invasion of Sudan and eventually the occupation and annexation of the Fansal area up to this present time. So we all understand, according to the intelligence, we know Taban Deng is still attached with the Northern Sudan government because he signed some document and he's the man behind all this. The problem is His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayadi do not actually listen to a real intelligence and a real fact that is actually conveyed to him by the indigenous native of those particular areas. That's a problem. So it would be wise this time citizens have to speak out loudly and clearly to the face of His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayadi. So he has to understand that this man is dangerous. Not only is he dangerous to the people of Ruweng, he's also dangerous to His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayadi. And that's why we suspect he's one of those people that are actually plotting what is alleged to be, a brewing military coup that is being rumored against His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayadi in Juba. Taban Deng is among those who are suspected to be fomenting a military coup against Salva Kiir Mayadi. Anyway, thank you and have a good day. Have a good night. Yeah, it was a pleasure spending time with you, reading out this petition, and I will continue to bring it to your attention. I believe the consistencies of the Central Nuer and Eastern Nuer of Upper Nile State and Jonglei State, I believe this is your opportunity to take this political advancement so that you can call for the removal of Taban Deng and be replaced with the most prominent politician that come from the constituencies that are now supporting the government of South Sudan. This is how politics is. You cannot just allow Salva Kiir Mayadi to continue to maintain this guy in the better position that is supposed to be given to your constituencies. Imagine the fact that Taban Deng is coming from the Unity State, where Dr. Riek Machar, who is already the vice president, coming from the Unity State. This is disproportionate. The distribution of the powers is disproportionate. So it is your political right to demand a fair share of the power. So one of the seat of the vice presidency has to be granted or has to be awarded to the constituencies of the Nuer from Jonglei State or the Nuer in Upper Nile State. This is how I perceive it. So the homework is yours. It is your discretion to decide whether you can actually claim and join the petition calling for and demanding the removal of Vice President Taban Deng. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day wherever you may be around the world. This is Billy Luke, the host of today show.